This chapter is all about principles of management. We are going to learn the Taylor and Henry Fayol's principle of management, what exactly they gave to us. Now, before we go there, let us understand what is the concept of management principles. See, management principles are nothing but statement of fundamental truths. When I am giving you any kind of principle that is being proven, it has been observed, it has been proven by the person who invented it, and hence it is considered to be the statement of fundamental truth. Okay, for example, if I am telling you that a employee would get motivated by when a manager does X thing. Let's say when a manager says that I would give an incentive if you perform by producing more units or by giving me work before time. So here incentive works as a motivation and employees love motivation. So if I am saying in that way, it as a part of a principle, then it is a fundamental truth, and hence management principles are considered to be statement of fundamental truth. They are guidelines for decisions. So by reading these principles, the management can take decisions based on these principles. These and the actions for managers can be taken, or the actions of managers would depend on these principles. Okay, now let's understand when it comes to management principles how they are when it comes to values. Now see, if you are going in a bus or if you are going in a any kind of public transport, if you see any elderly person and you offer your seat to that person because the bus is very crowded and you see the person, so you give that elderly person your seat. So that way, that is a value which you practice, that is giving respect to elderly people. So values are nothing but desirable and moral considerations which are required in a society, like respecting another human being is a value. Okay, but when it comes to principles, these are statement of truths. These are guidelines which can be used for effective conduct of business. So that's the difference between value and business. Now when it comes to principles, they are technical in nature. Remember, they have proven statements. Whatever the principles are being given to us, they are being proven, and they are technical in nature because we would be using a lot of technical jargon and there would be technicalities out there. But when it comes to values, they are ethics which we are talking about. Now remember, values would be formed from common principles, that is principles would be formed through when it comes to business. When it comes to management principles, they would be formed through research and experimentation. So what's the difference out here? When it comes to values, the common principles which are followed in society, they become the values out here. When it comes to management principle, this is based on research and experimentation. Now let's understand what is management principles versus the technique of management. What is the difference between these two terms? See, when I am talking about management principle, these are principles which will give me guidelines, provide me guidelines for making decisions. They would give us the techniques. When it comes to techniques, techniques would give us the method, or they refer to the method or procedures to achieve organizational goals. So what is the difference out here? One is providing a guideline, other is giving you a technique about how to achieve certain goals. Now let's do the last thing, that is management principles versus principle of pure science. See, when it comes to management principles, remember, they are not rigid in nature. As I have been telling you, they can be modified as per the situation. They can be modified by the manager as per the people he is dealing. So they are not rigid in nature. Pure science are rigid principles. Why? Because they are not dealing with human behavior. So what is the difference out here? Management principles are dealing with human behavior and hence they are applied as per situation. When it comes to scientific principles, the pure science, these are all proven techniques, but again the proven observations post experimentation, but then because they are not dealing with humans, so they are rigid in nature, they behave in the same manner. Now, when it comes to management principles, they are not valid universally. They do not, you cannot produce the same results every time. When I am applying the principle of motivation, it is not necessary I will get the same result every time I apply it on every employee. Whereas if you see the scientific principle like the law of gravitation, it will give you the same result every time when you see it. So that is the difference between management principle and principles of pure science.